What's going on, everybody? My name is Steven. You guys are watching the Fowler Airgun channel. Today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at the Snowpeak M60B. This is the bottle version here, and this is going to be in 9mm 357.357 caliber. Let's take a closer look at this one. Alright, everybody, this is the Snowpeak M60B. B is for bottle version here, and this is just going to give you a picture real quick of the box here, so you can see that they have this as the original M60 version, which is this here, which has the air cylinder on it. And if you flip it over, it shows you right here on the back of the box. This is the bottle version, the M60B. Okay. Here's some specs for you all, straight off of the box here. This is in 9mm. It doesn't even come printed on the box here. They only have it from 177 up to 25 caliber here. Again, this is the bottle version, not the cylinder version here. Just giving you a little close-up real quick of the box, and then we can get right on into this thing here. So this is the 35 caliber Snowpeak M60B. I believe it goes by a couple different names I've seen out there, but I want to do a little bit of a review for you all here, show you what we have, talk some specs here, let you know my opinion on it, and tell you where I actually got this airgun from. So I've spent a lot of time scouring the internet looking for air guns. A lot of the stuff that I purchase is through Pyramid Air or through a lot of domestic, a lot of local places here, even in the area of North Carolina. However, here recently, I've been looking into some of these websites that are overseas, and the website I ordered this air gun from specifically was from a website called Crawl or Crawl.com, Crawlshop.com, Krale shop.com. And I was a little skeptical about ordering from there. Obviously it's from the Netherlands, that's where they're based at, and so when you send money that far overseas, you're obviously going to be concerned with shipping and handling and how these things are done. I'll tell you, my personal experience with this so far has been fantastic. I ordered this air gun and it shipped to me in less than a week from the Netherlands. Now, I'm not sure if that's really where the item was located and where it came from. However, it did show during tracking progress that it was in Germany and other places that it seemed to have passed through, supposedly. So, it may have been overseas, imported to here. However, I'm not really certain on that. I will say that it got here incredibly fast, and that I was very satisfied with the whole transaction. The only issue I had with the transaction would be on my behalf. My bank was not authorizing an immediate purchase for the air gun, so I had to go to my branch and sign some things and unlock some things for fraud. However, after that, the air gun was sent right to me. So super satisfied with the shipping, the handling, the communication with these folks. They don't speak English, they speak Dutch over there, I believe. So the communicating through emails was a little iffy at times, but it was very short, the whole transaction altogether, straightforward, and the air gun has arrived to me safely. It did come boxed up here, and it actually came with nice foam inserts, everything. This came in a box that was actually inside another box with the big air filled, the big air pocket filled plastic wrap that goes around for packaging here. So I was very satisfied with the way that it was shipped to me, and everything was included, including, so all the parts that it said in the description on the website were all sent to me, as well as an extra 100 piece of these Snowpeak brand round pellets here. Just a traditional round nose skirted pellet here, and these are 80 grain, well, almost 81 grain. So we're going to do some shooting with those and compare those amongst other types of ammunition we have. Obviously in this video specifically, I really wanted to give everybody a look at some things and just talk about it a little bit. Alright, so I want to share a couple things with you that I thought were really interesting about this gun, and tell you exactly why it is that I purchased this air gun, what I plan to do with it, applications, and what have you. So I purchased this air gun because I was in the market for big bore air gun. larger caliber air gun here. And specifically, I really wanted 357. I have 45 caliber. I've shot 50 caliber, and they're all enjoyable. But I wanted something that was a little bit smaller, maybe had a little bit of a flatter trajectory, but also that could possibly provide something in a smaller platform. Well, if you really look at this air gun, you could probably tell a lot of things about it. Number one, it absolutely does resemble, in my opinion, FX airgun style air guns. Okay, I'm not sure exactly if that is FX style or if that's just a style. However, I'll just tell you a couple things about this. So, I'm not familiar with Snowpeak as a brand. I've never purchased an air gun from them. I know that Snowpeak is out of, I believe it's China. So Snowpeak is from China, and they were 1976, I believe is the year that they were founded. So they've been making air guns for a long time. And I also looked into FX air guns. They've only been since, I believe, 1999. So, you know, I believe Snowpeak has been around for a while. Now, when they started coming out with a platform like this, I have absolutely no idea. I'm not here to try to bash one person or another, talk bad about them. But what I do want to say is it does resemble an FX airgun. And with that in mind, I went into searching for an airgun. And I really wanted big bore, but I wanted something that was compact. I didn't really want, you know, I didn't want something like the Winchester 70-35 or something that was, you know, more traditional stock wise. I wanted something that was more compact. And personally, I prefer something that has a bit more of a tactical style to it, and that is most of the time made out of some kind of CNC machined aluminum here instead of plastics and things like that. Well, I came across the Crawl website, which, again, very, very satisfied with them. I came across that website and I was looking, and I found this, the Snowpeak model M60B. It's the M60B because it is the bottle version instead of the air cylinder version here. 357, which is fantastic, and a very compact, very compact rifle here. So I kind of want to work my way around a little bit and talk about this thing a little bit in detail here, some opinions on it. So first of all, first thing I want to talk about, when I initially saw this and I picked it up, I was like, weight. The weight for me, it's alright, it's doable. With the bottle on it, I will tell you right now, this is an aluminum bottle here that attaches onto this air gun, and I will explain to you why this is detached in just a moment. So this is an aluminum bottle, and this, with this adapter on it, actually has a good bit of weight. It's over a pound. I believe it was like 1.5 pounds or just under 1.5 pounds when I looked at the weight on it. So it's a little hefty when it's on the air gun. It gives it, you know, it's balanced well. I'll say that if you're holding it here by the grip, by this grip here, you know, it does balance well. But initially, when I picked it up, I realized it has a little bit of weight. You can buy aftermarket carbon fiber bottle for that, and which I do plan to do. It's $150 roughly. It'll probably ship from China, and I don't know if I'll have any luck really finding it here domestically, but you can get them for $150. They'll ship to you. So I believe that's something I may end up doing in the future. We'll see. So it's a little bit heavy initially. I picked it up. First thing I want to do is I want to shoulder it. Okay, that's what I do with pretty much any air gun if I'm interested, or any gun if I'm interested in it. So I grabbed it and I shouldered it and I said, okay, the length of pull, right? Length of pull is a little long for me. Me personally, I really like to have my air guns tucked in really tight, so when I'm shooting, I'm really secured that weapon really close into my body, so I have really good control of it. Some people prefer to shoot differently. I, for my applications, don't want this to be some type of a bench rest gun. I really want to use this to get out and try to shoot at some coyotes, some raccoons, some medium to larger medium game animals. So I really want to use this as a hunting platform. I was wanting something that was aluminum, mostly in construction, that was light and compact. The weight's a little iffy, and the length of pull is a little uncomfortable for me. I have longer arms, so really it's not an issue with that necessarily as much as it just feels unnatural to me. Like I said, I like to say tucked in. So initially those were the things I picked up. The things I really liked about it was, I'm like, okay, hey, the compact size, even with the length of pull, it's perfectly acceptable, okay? So it's really not incredibly long, so if you're sweeping through the woods and what have you, or if you're going through like me, run around like a wild man, You know, if I snag this on something, not a big deal. Hey, that's going to bring me to my next point we can move on to here. So immediately I picked it up. I was like, the weight, let me shoulder it, and let me start kind of fidgeting with everything and see how it goes. So back to this here. This has this bottle that comes with it with this adapter, and it comes with this very funky idea. Now, kind of cool, and at first you may be like, well, that's kind of cool, I kind of like that. I'll tell you some pros and some cons of it. So this bottle, you actually fill it separately from the gun, so it doesn't have your Foster fitting attached into the adapter here. You just have your micromanometer, okay? And they even brand inside of their micromanometer their Snowpeak, so everything is fit for this air gun. I mean, obviously the bottle is pretty generic, but most of everything that's on here, and I believe, was it this, or even on here, the end of the stock, we'll get into this, I'm kind of jumping around. Everything is branded, it's really nice and clean. So we have the bottle here. What it does is you actually have to remove it, take this funky little fill tool they have here, which has an aggravating O-ring on the end of it. It has a little detent in there. You set this in there, and what it will do is it'll allow you to fill your bottle, okay, and then remove your tool, and then kindly thread it onto your air gun. Now, here are some problems with this, pros and cons. So like a pro would be, okay, well, what if I was able to get multiple bottles, you know, and I just want to walk around with, you know, a backpack full of bottles? Hey, okay, that may be possible. I believe I've seen some videos out there when I initially was researching this gun and saw that there is a website, I believe it was called Air Archery Fun, I could be wrong, but I believe they carry some kind of adapter that actually has the Foster fitting built onto the end. Surprise, I'm going to machine my own right into this thing. I mean, it's a no-brainer. But so mine will not disconnect. I want mine stationary, permanent onto the gun. However, you can get that adapter for it, and you may say, well, that's cool because I can change out bottles and I can carry multiple bottles. That's great. I did speak to, I believe it was Mountain Sport Air Guns. I sent them a message real quick because I seen someone over there had done a review on this, and it was in a different caliber. But I asked them, I said, you know, what do you think about it? And they told me something that I didn't really think about initially that is very important. If you're going into purchasing this, you really want to consider this. This is going to wear out these threads. Taking this off, putting it back on, taking it off, putting it back on, every time you have to refill this bottle, well, that's just more moving parts, which is going to cause more wear and tear. So, I mean, for me personally, I think that if this was fitted to the gun with a Foster fill, a way to bulk fill your air externally, it's going to be better if it's built on. So I'm going to do away with that. Also, because if you notice, this has this little O-ring right here. I've already had this little O-ring blow up on me here, so I've had to replace that already, and it's just, you know, it's something you don't want to have to deal with a bunch if you're, you know, taking this off and on. Now you have to degas this before you remove the bottle, because something super cool about this air gun, you'll see one micromanometer there, you'll also see another right there. That is because, yes, this is a regulated air rifle. I believe it's regulated up to 1800 psi, somewhere in that area, and I believe right now this is actually maxed out. I'll tell you a little bit about some velocities and things, but first I want to tell you about some more things other than this bottle here. So I picked it up, I wanted to shoulder it, and I wanted to start fidgeting with everything immediately. So some super cool things that I found. Number one, the moderator on the end is removable. And if I can do this and keep most of this in the picture here without dropping this. So everything is machined very well. The threading is so nice and clean. I haven't found a bunch of chipping or any old pieces from, you know, the machining process left behind. Everything seems to be really cleared out and clean. You get this very nice machined baffled moderator here that comes on it, okay? Another really cool part about this moderator is that you can actually break it down into sections all the way down to the small section. Each one of these little pieces here comes apart, okay? So if you want to shorten this thing, or you want to, you know, lengthen it, turn, you know, keep it like it is here. This is with all the baffles in it, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 baffles here, and you know, it's a quiet gun. It is at the velocities that's shooting at right now, factory with no tune, it is shooting quiet. The moderator really helps, and it's a pretty simple design. As a matter of fact, I can just show you. a pretty simple design here as far as what they've done with the moderator. There's no fancy tricks in the baffles here. It's really just expand and shrink. I mean, that's all of them are just the same way. It's just a large port just for expansion, and the rest of it will just flow through. So maybe even at some point, something that would really help this would be if you you know, come back possibly up here towards the front, or maybe these last few baffles here, and I don't mind the length personally, so I'll probably run it with all the baffles. I may put some really small portholes in this, some really small ones, just to help, you know, wisp a little bit of that extra air out. Might quiet it down just a little bit. I've had no clipping or anything. I have shot this air gun, spoiler alert. I've had no kind of clipping or anything in this, so so far everything has been fantastic with that. Here, actually, I'll just remove this. Barrel shroud comes right off to that nice big old funky 357 barrel right there on the end. I'm not sure about the barrel twist rate or anything on it yet. I haven't really got into it that much. I've seen a couple different things out there on some threads where people were talking about a manufacturer who produced this specific barrel here and say that they're a genuine, you know, manufacturer of barrels, that they make good stuff, or at least quality, fairly quality. I'm not sure exactly what the words were used, but I believe I got the feeling people were pretty excited that we're talking about the barrels that were in it. So hopefully we got some fairly quality stuff in here that, I mean, in my personal opinion, it seems machined very well. So let's work our way back a little bit here. Here's some cool things here. Take this back out here and give you another close look. Okay, so safety is non-ambidextrous, okay? So it's going to be on your right side of your rifle here, and it's smooth. I mean, it's got a little stiff to it, which is good. You want that. You don't obviously want it flopping around, but it's not one of those that you have to cram to get it going. I mean, it's you know, pinky lever. It's easy. So nice and smooth. Side cocking lever here, and it actually has a pretty nice swing out arm here. I'm going to end up replacing this with something that has a roller on it, of course, but you know, overall it's nice. I've heard a lot of people complain in some threads saying, I got this and the spring was incredibly crunchy on it. It wasn't smooth cocking. I've had no issues at all with this thing. As a matter of fact, I'll let you hear it right now. Comes open. Nice and smooth. And if there wasn't a bunch of traffic from the highway going by, you'd probably hear us a lot better. But it has this block here that slides, this sleeve that slides right over the barrel, and it's a little crunchy towards the back end. Oh, got my magazine falling out. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Smooth and quiet, okay. Decocks. And to be honest with you, I think it's fairly acceptable. Let's see if it's enough to pass like the squirrel test here. Oh yeah, see? That was like practically no noise. So, nice and smooth, okay? Again, lever style, nice. Okay, to lock everything back, it has these nice little rubber stoppers here so that when this goes and makes forward contact with this piece of aluminum up here on the block, it just is nice and quiet. It's not clackety, it's not moving around, so that's good. You got yourself an adjustable blade style trigger here, and I'll be honest with you, from the factory, I believe when I looked at the specs, it said it's tunable from like 1 to 5 or 6 pounds, I believe. And I said, wow, that's actually impressive. I gotta know if that's true or not. I have not adjusted this trigger whatsoever, pardon me, since I've gotten this air gun, and I will tell you right now that this trigger is very smooth. It may be breaking right now at like 2 pounds, if that. So let's see if I can get a little switch on the hand here. We'll give it a nice little break. It's got a little bit of a first stage there, and release. So again, it's got a, I don't know, it's really nice, to be honest with you. It's a little bit of a first stage, but it's not too squishy. It's got like a little bit of play there, but then it's a clean break right there on the end. It's a little bit of a pull through. I mean, but it can't be more than 2 pounds right now where it's sitting at, and I'll be quite honest with you. I like it where it's sitting. I'm probably going to adjust it down. It really depends on what I'm shooting out of this and how much recoil I'm getting after my tune and everything. But right now, I'm going to run it just like that. Just really nice and stock. So you got yourself a little pick rail right here on the bottom, which something I thought was really cool is that I believe at some point we'll end up machining something that will have a drop rail that will come out below the bottle and maybe extend a little bit. I think that would be a little bit of a nice addition for this, so that you have a little bit more underneath for some, you know, if you want to get you a nice bipod or something underneath at the bottom of there that can extend out a little bit further. I think that's going to be a good option for that extend out. But you do have two little slots there for your Picatinny, so nice little option. It is Weaver style on the top there, so you see you get Weaver style rail on the top, and there is a lot of top rail. Something I will tell you is that I tried mounting a compact scope on it, and because the eye relief is a little bit closer, length of pull here is to consider. You're going to need an optic that's going to sit back further, or find yourself a rail that has an extension, some offset that can come back to you, because all the rail is pretty forward on the gun. So I mean, it's a lot of rail and it's nice. It's very well machined and it's very stable. It is connected by several of these set screws here, machined right in nicely. Everything is very, very nice and tight. It has this little bit of a see-through right there through the rail, so they tried to keep it light as possible, I guess. I believe it could still use a little bit of machining, but overall it's pretty hollowed out. Everything is nice. Weaver rail on the top all the way. It's nice. Here back here at the buttstock, or at the stock end here at the butt. So you got a nice little rubber pad. It's nothing spectacular. Single set screw there holding it in. I believe you could replace that with something a little more to your liking. But you do have right here at the bottom the ability to be able to put you know, if you want that to shoot bench rest or something, and maybe you're looking for one of those, I forget what they're called. It's a something pod of a sort that you stick on the bottom here, and it allows you to adjust for your butt end for elevation and what have you right here. So if you're shooting at the bench and you want to stick you some accessories in the bottom there, they did offer that. And it even has right there in the bottom where it says M60, and that little rubber cover pops right out there. Right through the bottom there, you'll see this is where our magazine inserts here. And just to be honest with you, everything has been smooth as can be. Okay, you can see that this is bullpup style here, so the barrel runs all the way from the butt back out, which is going to give us that compact vibe anyway. So magazine here, you see you got all your linkage that runs right through here. It's nice and tucked and flush. Nothing sticks out of this gun. Everything seems to really hold together well. Magazine here, it does come with this huge, I believe this was 11 shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 shots. I'm wrong. This is 12 shot magazine. Let me set this down real quick and make sure I am not fibbing to anybody here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 shots in 357, okay? And it does have a very nice magazine, and I want to point that out to some folks too here. This is actually CNC machined aluminum here. The plastic is really durable. If you notice those stop pins right there, the stop pins are really thick. It rotates backwards. You load your one end face out. The rest of them just load right in. It's got that swing style face on it. It even has two nice, very sturdy magazines that lock this right into this air gun here. And I'll just show you that. Pull your cocking lever back there, and the magazine faces upside down like this with a little flat side up. Oh, and of course you got to have the clear side facing towards you. That's the point of it, so you can see what you're shooting into. And it just slides right in, and it locks in nicely, and it doesn't fly out. Even with it cocked open, it's not flying out anywhere. So the magnets are really holding in. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. But yeah, it slides right in. Magazine is in a very good position back here. It's very out of the way, but also available, accessible. I don't see that if you had several magazines and you're trying to change out magazine, having a magazine located back there is still very convenient. So, what else can we say about this? This is a Snowpeak M60B. I think I have just about covered everything I can on it. It does give you the option for changeable grips here, so if you want to get yourself, you know, AR style, like a 0 degree or 0 angle type grip or something different, just whatever really fits your hand better, maybe something with a fatter grip on it. It does give you the option to be able to change that out. Let's see, what else do we have here? Plenum size, I'm not really sure on the plenum size of this air gun. I believe I seen on the thread, somebody said it was really small actually. But the plenum size in this is going to be relatively small. That would be something that down the road maybe could look into, you know, doing some work into that area and making this a bit more powerful. This is going to get a tune for me, so it's going to get modified. Again, some things I'm going to do to it is I'm going to, you know, play with the trigger. Going to do a lot of work with, you know, porting, tuning with any kind of valve work, balancing everything out. A lot of shooting, a lot of chronograph work. I don't have all the fancy computer work and everything like some of these guys have out there, so it's done more hands-on over here, but it really gives me a good feel for the gun. It really lets me get very personalized with it. So we'll be getting a tune from me. It's going to get the bottle is going to be stationary. It's probably going to be switched to a carbon fiber bottle. It's going to have the bulk air fill, the Foster fill connection right built onto it. It's going to get tuned to shoot heavier. So right now I've shot this thing and I've gotten upwards of close to 760 feet per second, believe it or not, out of this. So, and that was with a 80.87 grain pellet here. So, and I'll show you these too, just since we're already talking about it. So a couple things here. This does not come with a single loader. I've only got this that came with one magazine, no single shot loader. I would like to have some swing style loader that comes right out the side here at some point. Something from FX I'm sure fits onto this gun, or somebody has specs to be able to 3D print one that's very similar. I'm sure I'll work with somebody on that. But a single shot loader would be really nice, because things like these Predator polymags, they're a little bit too long to fit into these magazines, and I still like to be able to shoot stuff like this to get myself set up for, you know, if I'm shooting game animals, most of the time I'm not shooting these traditional round nose pellets here. I like to shoot something that's more hunting style, whether it be a slug or it just be something like one of these here. So that's going to be something in the future as well that I'll be figuring out, be a single shot tray. But overall, I am very satisfied with everything. Again, it came boxed very nicely. I got it from crawlshop.com or Krail Shop. I'm not exactly sure how they're saying that. KRALE shop.com. That's where I got this air gun from. And again, it was pretty painless overall. It was nerve-wracking, of course, but it was nice when I got everything here. I got full tracking details and everything from this company. They sent it out. I was very, very pleased overall. As far as ordering from the company and the gun itself overall, I am happy with it. I give it a nice thumbs up. And we're going to do some shooting with this thing and some more videos here to come. It's been freezing cold, and we actually got a lot of snow coming in this afternoon, so it's probably going to be a couple days before I really get out here and do shooting, because we're expecting quite a bit. But you never know. I might get out here underneath the shelter and do some snow videos. We'll see. It did come with a bag full of a whole bunch of spare O-rings and stuff. It came with this this Foster fill adapter here to be able to fill your bottle, and it did actually come with a manual. And the manual, believe it or not, and I couldn't believe this myself almost, was actually entirely in English, which is, it's helpful. You know, sometimes you get a manual and you just can't read it, and that does you absolutely no good. So that is nice. Everything came to me as you see it. It's I'm very satisfied. I don't know what else to really say. Looking forward to doing some future videos on this, and I hope you guys are as well. If you enjoyed this lengthy video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see some more on this gun here and future things that are here to come. And I'll see y'all on the next one.